Welcome back. I'm Melina Torres, and in this presentation, we're going to discuss conduct standards during presentations, as well as some valuable presentation skills. By the time you finish watching this presentation, you will know all of the expected behaviors during programming content, as well as how to control verbal and nonverbal communication, manage time effectively, delegate responsibilities, and diffuse conflict. These skills will all prove invaluable to one of your key roles as peer educators, presenting program content. When signing up for a program presentation, make sure that you're definitely available on the date and time that you signed up for. If you sign up, you're expected to show up. The only acceptable excuses are family emergency or hospitalization. If there's an emergency, be sure to email all of your supervisors and be sure to find someone to cover your time slot. Make sure to show up for presentations 15 minutes early in order to help set up. After the presentation, be sure to stay and help until everything is cleaned up. Show up to the presentation dressed appropriately. Avoid clothing like sweatpants, graphic tees, hats, and anything of this nature. Instead, wear professional or semi-professional clothing. Be mindful of what you're saying and what others are saying as well. Don't use profanity and make sure to be respectful of the opinions of all members of the audience. If someone says something that you either don't agree with or feel to be ignorant, don't react. Instead, address the appropriate and correct information. Acknowledge their opinions and inform the audience about the facts. For presentations, there's always a lead presenter and one or more co-presenters. Make sure you talk beforehand and have a game plan for who is going to pass out the pre and post tests, as well as the evaluation forms. Discuss who is going to present which part of the presentation. Whoever isn't presenting at the time should be prepared to hand out prizes should the need arise. This leads us to the next important thing to remember: show up prepared. If you're going to have prizes to hand out, you need to remember to bring them. If you have props that you use in your activities, make sure to bring them. Always have more pre-tests, post-tests, and evaluations than you think you will need. The same goes for any materials you use during the presentation. It's better to have too many than too few. Showing up prepared always means knowing what you're going to say before the night of the presentation. The more prepared you are regarding the content, the more natural and fluid the presentation will be. Although preparation is an excellent way to help overcome stage fright, sometimes we need a little bit more help making sure that we're communicating effectively in a natural, calm demeanor. First, pay attention to your volume. Speak loud enough for even the people in the back to hear, but not so loud that you come off as shouting or yelling at the audience. Nonverbal communication is another important thing to keep in mind. It's all right to talk with your hands. Just make sure your hand gestures aren't distracting the audience from your message. Although hand gestures aren't required, if you do use them, try to use them to enhance the meaning rather than detract from it. Another important skill, which will help to make your presentations more fluid, is time management. Always be aware how much time you have left. If for some reason you find yourself running short on time, there are a couple of ways of compensating. First, make sure that you don't entirely cut sections out. Instead, cover the most important information in each section. When possible, refer the audience to external resources that they can use to get the extra details on their own time if they wish. From time to time, due in large part to the sensitive nature of the topics we discuss, conflict can arise either between the presenter and the audience or between audience members. In order to diffuse conflict between yourself and an audience member, first allow them to fully develop and voice their opinion regarding an issue. Even if you disagree with parts of their opinion, allow them to finish fully before addressing any flaws. Use phrases such as, "I understand what you're saying, but have you considered," or even provide counterexamples, either personal or even recent events. Remember, you can always rely on support from your co-presenters or even ask the audience members if there are any other responses. Be sure that your language emphasizes that you're looking for additional views, not contradicting views. Keep calm and make sure that your body language doesn't reveal frustration or exhibit antagonizing mannerisms. Even if your audience isn't super close, they can still see you rolling your eyes. Don't become upset when an audience member has something to say that you feel is uninformed. Remember, that's exactly why we have peer educators in the first place, to build a healthier, more informed community. Hopefully these pointers will allow you to become better presenters. If you haven't already done so, watch the included video which provides some more helpful presentation tips. After reviewing this video, you will have your next Quick Check quiz. As always, if you don't get all the questions right the first time around, review the material and try again until you complete it. Once you completed this quick check quiz, you will gain access to this section's test, which covers all of the material on creating programming content. If you score 90% or better the first time you take this test, you will unlock the next module. Otherwise, you'll need to take the test a second time. Regardless of your score on the second attempt, the next module will unlock.